Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
Yo, what is good, everybody? This is your man, Montez Scott, Mr. Move Like a Thief of the Night, the Titan, theme song maker, podcast host, and you are listening to Everything Pro Wrestling. Salute.
Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are live right now on YouTube for episode 85 of the Everything Pro Wrestling Podcast. We are doing a live Q&A. As you guys can see, we are getting really close to the 1,000 subscriber mark. We need to get that watch time up so that we can get sponsored by YouTube. But in the meantime, guys, if you are new to the channel and you like the content, please do me a favor and subscribe. We talk pro wrestling. As you guys can see in the name, it's all about everything pro wrestling. Today we are giving back to the community that gives greatly back to me, and we're going to do a Q&A. We have some really good questions in here, some really weird ones that aren't wrestling related, but we're going to have fun while we record all of these. So do me a favor, guys, make sure you click that like button on the video. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, more people getting to see it. Also, make sure that you guys click the subscribe button. If you're watching this after the fact, do me a favor, put some comments down below. I reply to all of them. Let me know what you think. Do you have another question? Do you want to follow up on something? Or you could just write hashtag my favorite wrestling promotion is, and then put in something. Whatever you guys want to let me know. I appreciate any comments that are left down below. And if you guys look in the description box, we have two things left. First and foremost, if you guys go to powerslam.tv and use the promo code EPW Show, you guys will get 1 free month of the greatest independent wrestling. Powerslam.tv brings it all to you, like my local Empire State Wrestling. So you guys want to check that out. Get 1 month free on us by using the code EPW Show. And last but not least, check out the link tree down below. This episode will be put into podcast audio form, so don't worry, you guys will get your everything college basketball plugs in there. You're going to get the intro music and everything else. I haven't put that up on YouTube yet. I need a session with File so I can learn how to do all of that, but I'm sure that I'll figure it out eventually. But hopefully you guys will let me know if you like this new format. Tell me what you think. Is it something that's working? Is it not working? Enough of the jibber jabber, though. You guys are here to hear your questions being answered, and we are going to start with the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group first. We have a great Facebook group with almost 600 members in it right now. They ask a bunch of questions, some really good ones, some really weird ones. Like I was saying before, you guys should enjoy this. And if you guys are in here watching, thank you guys so much. I see some people. Make sure you're in that chat box talking too, guys. I'll try and peek over there as much as I can. So let us get into this right now. Shout out to all the new people too in the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group here. And I have to scroll down for these questions. I'm going to bump this thread too, so you guys are seeing this live as it happens. All right. Let us start off with the first question, which comes in from Jared Simmons. Jared, thank you for the question, brother. He starts off with, if Heel Doink had the gimmick that Bray Wyatt has now, how more over do you think he could have been? So when I got this question, I thought this was a really good one. It was the first question that I got, and I don't know, man. I find this very, very tough. You have to go back to 1993, right? What was going on in pro wrestling in 1993? Everybody had cartoon gimmicks. Doink the Clown was a clown. No pun intended, as the way people use the word clown now when they were referring to certain pro wrestlers. Doink the Clown was a clown, and he came off as a heel clown. And clowns are scary too. Look at the movie It. Something that is referenced often by me, Derek, Donnie, Rob, when we're sitting here talking about AEW, we talk about horror films. and that is something that you can bring up. It the Clown, hello. You get all these freaky, creepy things from clowns. And they eventually turn Doink into a fun thing. But comparing Doink to having that Bray Wyatt gimmick, I don't see Bray as a clown, as more of a kind of menace. Somebody who is here to cause chaos. But Doink the Clown, I think, would have been better off for it. I think he would have been very over, but you would have had to have portrayed it differently. 1993 was not ready for the version of Bray Wyatt that we have now. I would have loved to have seen this gimmick when things were a little more edgy. I want to say circa anywhere between like 97 till 2004. I would love to have seen what they would have done with this gimmick then, because I think you could have really sunk your teeth into it and done a lot more with it. We are going to look at the live chat here. Eric Brennan was not happy with the Jurassic Express losing. Don't worry, brother. Long-term storytelling. Flood says, I just locked the like button in a disarmor. My man Flood. Thank you, Flood. Appreciate your support. Donnie said, what up? Derek, what's good, brother? Flood said he was born in 1993. Different times, right, Flood? Jesus De Leon. Jesus, I caught you in that NWA Power chat, man. Good to see you in there talking. Hey, thank you, Friendly. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for dropping the like. Jared Simmons. It was a good question, Jared. Like, that was one of my favorite ones because you posted it first, so I got to give you a lot of credit. Jesus said a clown is Seth Rollins. And Derek is making more It the Clown references, talking about I Know Your Secret. You sick freak. Let's see here. Jesus De Leon is next up. Now, he's talking about where do you think Marty is going to sign? Or he said, where do you think Marty is going to sign? And I had to omit a word out of that. At first, I clowned him a little bit, I guess we'll say. And I said, are you referring to Marty Jannetty, one half of the Rockers? I always like Marty Jannetty, too. I don't know why everybody gives him such flack. But Jesus is referring to Marty Scurll. Rumor has it that his contract is over. Now, I believe he's been extended out to work the Ring of Honor Final Battle show. Amazing, good on Ring of Honor. I'm disappointed with all the text messages that came out with Joey Mercury and all the slew of bad media Ring of Honor has been getting. Why have we not yet seen Marty with the Ring of Honor title? Why didn't you throw everything at this guy? But I think Ring of Honor's in a scary type of mode after what happened with the Young Bucks, Cody, Adam Cole. They lost a bunch of people within the past 2 years. Like, they've lost everybody, and it's crazy. I don't know what you do here. And live chat, please feel free to throw your thoughts in on these. But to me, the Marty Scurll thing is a layup. I would love to see. I think he would thrive in NXT UK. He would be someone who would be great to go against Walter and be the one to dethrone him. That's just my opinion. That's not my answer, though. NXT in Florida. He would be a great fit. Marty's going to fit wherever he needs to. New Japan, wherever he goes, Marty's going to fit in and figure it out. But what's the best spot for him? Could it be NXT? I think he would do all right down there. Win some championships? Of course. But would he fit in? I feel Marty's best opportunity is AEW. His friends are all there. He's going to be booked well. He'll have a job after wrestling. If anything goes wrong, Marty should be well taken care of. Why would he not go to AEW? To me, that just seems like the right move for him. And I don't know what happens to Villain Enterprises after this. I think we're going to have to watch Ring of Honor Final Battle, which I plan on doing a review for on the channel. So if you like Ring of Honor, hit subscribe. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be really tough. King just came in here. What's up, King? He says Seth Rollins' slow heel turn and ROH is dead. Too many people in NXT. I feel he shouldn't go there. Absolutely not. Is this Marty Jannetty? No, Marty Scurll. NXT is too stacked, but I like I said, I think he would fit in there and he would cause a commotion right now and be able to do something. Could Marty go after Cody? Yes. Excuse me, there, had to get a drink of water. Absolutely. I think that AEW is the right place for him. What does he end up doing? I don't know. I think he goes against everybody from the Elite because of the whole our friend is dead and everything else. I think you could tell a great story with Marty there. Only time will tell, but if I'm a betting man, Marty Scurll, AEW, I think we'll see it sooner than later. Let's see here what we've got up next. Jesus comes back with another question, and he is asking about Rusev Day. He says, if Rusev doesn't sign, where do you think he should go? Now, I sat here and thought about this for a little bit, because in my heart of hearts, I know everybody can't go to AEW, and they probably don't want everybody. So I thought, does Rusev fit into Impact? Does Rusev fit in the Ring of Honor? And the more I thought about it, the more I started to say no. I don't believe Rusev will fit into either of these companies. Rusev is somebody who needs to be put onto a platform where he can show that he has a comedic side, where he can show that he is a brute force in the ring, be a great wrestler. And to me, the best spot for Rusev would probably be AEW. I'm not saying he's going to be the world champion, but I think he's someone who could go into AEW and make an impact right away. His wife just signed though with WWE. Do I see him leaving? I don't think so at this point. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that storyline either. It's trash juice is the best way I could put it. Let me see here. King says AEW is dying out. I don't know what you mean by that, good sir. Jesus says, you make sense. Go after all the Elite members. Kevin Owens destroyed Lana. Yes, he did. Impact still going. Yes, it is, Flood. Yes, it is. Let's get to Doug Vance. Doug is up next with some questions. First non-wrestling related question, which is usually labeled NWR in the group. He puts, what's the difference between wanting to love someone and wanting to make love to someone? This is just to clarify that these videos are not for kids, Copa. So, and for those listening, we're going to answer this question. We're going to answer the non-wrestling related ones too. So, what's the difference between wanting to love someone and wanting to make love to someone? One word comes to mind. Lust. Lust is my keyword in all of this. When you are lusting after someone, it's easy to look at a girl at a party, we'll say, and you're like, man, she's pretty hot. You know, she's someone who I would like to talk to. I could never see myself with that girl. Whatever you're saying to yourself, all right? That is lust because you have not met this person. You have not talked to this person. You may not know a single thing about them in the example that I'm using. And you could see yourself possibly making love to that person. Great. That's the thing that you're thinking in your head. Cool. The actual love that you want from someone is someone who's going to care about you from a mental aspect, physical, obviously. You are going to want someone who is going to love you for you. And that's the best advice I can give anybody in here. You have to love yourself as a person in the chat, but at the same token, you want a partner who loves you just as much as someone who's going to put out as much effort as you put out when it comes to it. You got to know each other's personalities. That's the main thing. And that's enough of the love talk with the love doctor, the doctor of style, Conrad Cushman on that one. But Doug, thank you for that question. Doug has another one in here as well. Wrestling related question. He said, would you like to see Ahmed Johnson versus R-Truth versus Buff Bagwell versus Moppy in a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match for the WWE 24/7 7-Eleven European Television Light Heavyweight Championship? Doug, my answer to that is no. But if I did have to book that, I'm definitely giving Ahmed Johnson the victory, though, for sure. Pro River Plunge, baby. Yeah, no, we don't want to see any more Judy Bagwell on a forklift matches. God, no. That sounds like something my boys Headlock Talk would have to review, and they went through enough pain in this fourth quarter for that stuff. Let us get into the next question, which is from Doug as well. He said, if there were a hard reset, champion stripped and couldn't be the first champion of the reset. So the way I took this was, you lose the title, you cannot be put in as champion once again. You couldn't even get another belt from somewhere else. That's how I took it. And he wanted me to do all of the brands for this. So I did. I wrote them down. So guys, how would you book it? King, we could talk about that afterwards, about AEW losing fans. But let's get into this and save your question as well, Jesus. I'll answer some questions at the end for people in the chat too. So for Raw, who would I book as champion? I have WWE champion Drew McIntyre is the person who I would put the title on. The United States champion Andrade. Him and Zelina Vega, I think they could do some good stuff with that title. The tag titles I put on the Street Profits. I almost threw together a kind of meshed up tag team, but instead I went with the Street Profits to be the tag champs. And the women's champion, I chose Ruby Riott. It was between her and Liv Morgan, but I went with Ruby Riott because, and by the way, when I looked on WWE.com, none of the people are on the proper brands. Just so you guys know that as well. I don't think WWE knows where some of the people are supposed to be. But Ruby Riott is who I picked to be the Raw Women's Champion. SmackDown Universal Champion. I went with Big E Langston, part of New Day. I feel New Day could do a heel turn and show a different persona this time as far as being part of the WWE Championship that time. And there weren't really a lot of main event players in there for SmackDown to mess around with. So I'm going to go with Big E. I think we should try to create a new star for the Blue Brand. The Intercontinental Champion, I feel it should go to Cesaro. Cesaro is someone who needs to be built up properly, and I think he just deserves a good run with the Intercontinental title at least once. He's someone who I think deserves better, so Cesaro was my pick for that. Tag titles, I went with Heavy Machinery. There weren't a lot of other teams. I noticed that too. The tag team division is really lacking. If they combined these brands with the tag belts, it'd be way better. And Women's Champion, obviously I went with my girl, Sasha Banks. She is the person who I would pick for that one. Sorry, quick water break there. NXT Champion. I went with Keith Lee. Keith Lee, to me, has been on a roll, and he is someone who I can see dethroning an Adam Cole. So I say put the World Heavyweight Championship on Keith Lee. You could tell a tremendous story about how someone who never got to appear on takeovers is now your world champion and dominating the brand. Keith Lee has it in him, man. He's got some superstar powers to him, so let him roll with it. The NXT North American Champion, I'm going to go with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is absolutely stellar in this role, and he's someone who I can see taking the belt off of Roderick Strong. He would be a good fit as champion. I don't know how long you want him to be champion because he had a dominant NXT UK title reign. We'll see. The tag titles, you know how to go with my boys. DIY, put the belts back on Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I would love to see them as a tag team once again. King, I just saw what you put for IC champion. He was definitely my runner-up because I definitely was going to pick him too. So DIY tag champs, real easy. Give them a good run with that. And the women's champion, I put Rhea Ripley. It's an obvious choice. Rhea Ripley's hot right now. She is doing absolutely some good work, and you can't be mad at it. Rhea Ripley's been crushing the game for quite some time, and it's something that you'd have to appreciate. And for the Cruiserweight Championship, I don't know if this guy would fit into this particular situation, but at first I had Kushida, but I think I would have this man feud with Kushida. Isaiah Swerve Scott. One half of the Swerve City podcast with my boy Montezi. Isaiah Swerve Scott is absolutely perfect for the Cruiserweight title. He's been showing up and delivering every single week on NXT, and I'd love to see this guy get a little bit more of a push, but it's what you guys were saying in the chat earlier. The NXT brand is really crowded with lots of talent, and it's not a bad problem to have, but it's also very tough to manage people when you have that problem. And you know what? I even did NXT UK. Oh, and I forgot. Women's tag title, I went with Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and the 24/7 champion, Heath Slater. One-man band. NXT UK, I went with Wolfgang as the world champ, women's champ Piper Niven, and the tag titles, I don't know if I can do this, because if not, I will pick Mustache Mountain, but I went with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Got to satisfy those dudes. They've been busting their butts for years, and I think they deserve an opportunity as well on that. Let's get to the next question, which comes from my man, Obi-Wan. Original Biggie asked a lot of questions when it comes to 2K. So I'm kind of going to have a little miniature rant on this. My throat is killing me. Hold on, guys. Holy smokes. He asked, what steps should 2K take in order for a better product in 2K21? Is 2K21 going to make a 2K21? Or, no, excuse me. He said, is 2K going to make a 2K21? And what else did we have here? If it's made, what new features and options would you like to see? What updates does Brian Williams have in store? What wrestling game outside of an AEW game would you like to see from Ukes? And should 2K take a year off? Well, absolutely. What's going on, PR Nightmare? Good to see you in here. 2K, I don't think it's going to get canceled, King. I don't think it is. I think the contract's still too much money in there. WWE wants their games, but I think there's going to be more of a focus put on WWE 2K. What do you do with this? The first thing I wrote to this question was a question. I put, where do I start? Flood says sell the license. That might not be a bad idea at this point. 2K needs to get people in there who care about these video games. When I look at the NBA video games, shout out to my boy the Czar. He just gave me a follow today on Twitter. Czar is someone who is passionate about basketball. He loves basketball. He does all the freelance plays when you're playing NBA 2K. So you're playing a regular game. Czar is the person who puts the plays in the game. He watches NBA games to see what plays and schemes they're running, puts them in. That's some dedication. He was someone who was a YouTuber, started out on YouTube talking about things he wanted to see in the game, got hired by 2K. What moves has WWE 2K made towards that same realm? 2K has forgotten, I feel, what got them to the dance and what made people love them. It was the realistic games, and I think everybody in the younger generation became so influenced by things like the My Career, the 2K League. I even lost my way with trying to get into the NBA 2K League. We had a pretty good team. Shout out to my boy Kevin, who plays for Lakers Gaming. We were teammates at one point. You lost your vision because that's all you focused on. Nobody played Play Now Online anymore. You were focused on playing with your My Player, everything else. But this is a big game and lots of people want to play it. And I want someone who is going to love the WWE brand, who loves pro wrestling just as much. I want that passion that someone like Brian Williams has. Brian Williams was one of my favorite people to listen to interviews from. He used to be genuinely excited when he worked at THQ talking about this game. And he still gets excited about it when I talk to him privately. Like, Brian absolutely loved working on this game. So make no mistake about that. He was someone who enjoyed making the product, and I can't complain about that. What do I think the game needs to do? I think the game needs to take a year off, and they need to start releasing like UFC. They need to figure out how to make a game with an updated engine that doesn't have old code in it. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this, but old code is in that game. And I'm not talking about just 2K18 code. I'm talking PS1 code was hidden within all the layers of this game when they got it from THQ. Just shoved in there. How it happened, nobody knows. But at this point, we need to fix this game and figure out how to release consistent content that people are going to want to have, whether that's updated attires, allowing people to change haircuts and shirts and whatever. You have to have a game that's updated. You can't keep playing these games where there's only a couple modes. They're not putting in the stuff. We need all the stuff back that we had in 2K14. Period. There's no other way to put this. It has to be put back in. We're special guest referee. It's been, 4 or 5 years? I've heard some lame excuses for why stuff isn't in. 2K needs to gut check themselves and figure out how are we going to make this game better and what can we do. I don't know what the budgets are going to be. I don't know how big your teams are going to be, but you have to figure it out. And I'm with Jesus about the AEW game. I'm waiting for that to drop as well. And what kind of game do I want from Ukes? To answer that question real quick, Obi-Wan, for you. I just want a good wrestling game from Ukes. It could be New Japan. It could be whatever they want it to be. I would love a New Japan game or even an indie wrestling game that caters to Impact, Ring of Honor. I always wanted a game where the companies that couldn't get video game deals all came together to put one together. It's great exposure for the wrestlers and the brand. Putting it out there. Okay, let's get to the next question from the Facebook group, which comes from Robert Anderson. What's going on, Rob? Rob asks, if you came into possession of wrestling's Infinity Gauntlet, what would you change the landscape of the industry as you see fit? If so, how would you go about it? I had to write down my thoughts on this one a little bit here because, number one, Avengers is badass. And number two, you gave me kind of an open playing field for what I could do with stuff. I think that I would like to make wrestling to where we can have wrestling be mainstream. Some people judge wrestling without knowing a single thing about it. And I'm probably one of the worst people to have around to have that argument with because I'm going to shut you down, bro. I compare it to a lot of things, whether you like movies, whatever, and I can make wrestling relate. But I want people to understand wrestling that don't. Also, I want to bring back wrestling's like magic and innocence. I kind of miss the days when we didn't know what was happening, when people didn't read dirt sheets, when a surprise actually surprised you, versus like, oh, I heard Marty Scurll's going to AEW. Why not randomly just have him show up one night and we knew nothing about it? You know what I mean? I miss that feeling of like Jericho showing up in 1999. I didn't have a computer back then. When Jericho showed up, I was shocked. Like, oh, Chris Jericho's here. Those are the feelings that I want back. And innocence too, just as far as not knowing everything. I've watched wrestling long enough that I can kind of see finishes and predict how things are going to happen. Give me that innocence back to where I don't know all of these things. Make me ignorant to it. Donnie said same. I get offended when people judge wrestling. Excuse me. PR Nightmare says, I haven't enjoyed WWE 2K since 14. You ain't the only one, brother. Same. And last thing I put was less tearing each other down in the wrestling community. I saw a lot of it tonight, even when I was watching NWA Power, AEW Dark. There were people coming into the NWA Power just telling people, go to AEW after. Why are you doing that in there, man? It's not the place. Don't force stuff on people. Don't tell people what to do. And I hate being lumped into these small pockets because, listen, some people deserve to get flamed. And when you come at them, I get it. They deserve it. But at the same token, can we just sometimes agree to disagree? Me and Eric were going back and forth in a private chat earlier when we were watching NWA. And then we started talking AEW stuff about the women's division. We agreed to disagree on something. Eric brought up great points, and I thought I did as well. Like, you can't. Sometimes it's not going to work every time. I've had disagreements with Jim, Robert, Donnie. We've all had disagreements. Even when it comes to saying the name Sammy Guevara. You like that? You like that, Donnie? That was just for you, man. Yeah, so it's what it is, dude. I just want the wrestling community to be better. I want to see this thing prosper, and hopefully I get to 1K likes before the new year, baby. Or not 1K likes, 1K subscribers. What the hell am I talking about? Let's get to the next question. From my man Peyton Burton from Everything College Basketball. Love Everything College Basketball. College hoops just got tipped off. Let's see what's going to happen. We got a long way until March Madness. But he asked me the question, will UNC beat Louisville this year in basketball? Come on, bro. Hell yeah. I love Cole on UNC, man. I absolutely can see this happening. I think we see it happen, though. There's no other way to put this. UNC gets the win, man. I love Louisville, but Tar Heel ya, baby, all the way. That's my favorite team. Next question comes in from Jesus De Leon, and I'm going to put this to the chat as well. And my question to him is, favorite heel right now? Live chat, come on in. Put it in. Who's your favorite heel in pro wrestling right now? My answer, 3 letters, baby. MJF. This dude is a major douche. Absolutely good, though. He's come at me already. He tore me down. When I met him, he was talking crazy too. But MJF is really good. Love the dude who he talked about, who he vanity searched on Twitter yesterday. Freaking hilarious. MJF is really good. He's my favorite heel right now. Let me see what the live chat is saying while I wait for some of their answers for current favorite heel. Let's see. WWE 2K18 was worst in WWE 2K series. I think 20 is, because I definitely could not buy that, even just listening to the reviews. Eric said, Conrad, we both have different viewpoints, but each are valid, and I agree. Donnie said, thank you, because I finally said his name right. His boy, Sammy. You will soon, Jesus said, thank you. Eric said, I see 1K subs soon. Huskies, baby, Yukon. I love Yukon. Good old Ray Allen, right? PR Nightmare. King says Jay White is his favorite heel right now. I can get down with some Jay White, little New Japan. Donnie says MJF. Okay. I see you guys. Looks like some people don't want to answer. Don't want MJF to find out, huh? And let's get to Rising Star. Shout out to Rising Star, brother. Hopefully you get to hear this, that you got your question answered. Jesus will let you know, though. I trust him. And Jesus just put MJF or Cole. Good answers, Jesus. Rising Star says, if ROH don't get new owner / management, should they sell, and who should they sell to, and why? Ring of Honor's in big time trouble here. The main thing Ring of Honor needs to do is figure out, number one, how to get its roots back, and they need kind of a talent overhaul. They don't have a lot going for them right now. I like Rusev as the champion, but they have to figure out what's their identity going to be going forward. I feel like NXT and AEW stripped them of everything that they had, and it's hurting attendance. I think a lot of the fans are split too, and that's why we're seeing such poor attendance. And who should Ring of Honor sell to? There's only one answer, guys. It's got to be the WWE. I don't think AEW has any interest in Ring of Honor at this point in time because they don't have a network. They don't have anywhere to put this content. What's Tony Khan going to do with all that? He has nothing if he buys Ring of Honor. He gets talent. That's about it. And was it worth it? I don't know. Are people going to want to check out old Ring of Honor stuff? I think on the network they would for $10 a month, but is anybody really going to want to do that? I don't know what AEW's long-term visions are, too. Do they want to be on pay-per-view for a long period of time? I don't know. I think that's a hard model to sustain. People are getting WWE Network. You get 12 to 14 pay-per-views for $10 a month. AEW's doing 4, and it runs you more than that. It's tough to say. And you're getting consistent content from the WWE Network, but they are a machine. They've been around for years. I could easily see them adding Ring of Honor as another belt notch to them. And WWE saying they have the largest tape library and everything else. And it'll be a great place to go and watch those old Ring of Honor matches from 2004, 2006. Just great years where you loved all the action. So, to me, WWE is the person who gets it.
Everything Pro Wrestling, it's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast and Facebook group. I'm Josh Burton, letting you all know that if you like the college game, that there's only one spot to come find all you need to know.
Yep, Josh, Peyton, and myself, Tyler. We are the three voices of ECB Podcast and Facebook group. Peyton, tell them where they can find us and listen to us at.
Well, Tyler, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all other podcast hosting sites. Also, go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups like Everything College Basketball. So if you want everything you need to know about the collegiate game or have a passion for it, there's only one spot that you need to check out on a weekly basis or a daily basis with the Facebook group. That's Everything College Basketball. Now let's get back to Conrad informing you on everything pro wrestling and the workings around it.
Brother.
Are you looking for the newest and hottest in the world of pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 6,000 hours of the best events from over 150 of your favorite promotions from 20 different countries around the globe. Brands like Progress Wrestling, Evolve Wrestling, Combat Zone, Defy, PCW Ultra, PWX, Over the Top, Shine, and hundreds of others with fresh content added every day for only $5.99 per month. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
And that is it for the Facebook questions. Now, I also asked questions, or I also posted that people could ask me questions on Twitter, and you had to use the hashtag AskEPW. So that's where we went with all of this, and we are going to go in right now and see what we have here. Now, some people posted them underneath into the thread, so we are going to look in there first, and then we'll go and see who posted Ask EPW stuff after. So we are on to this, and thank you to the 39 retweets, 47 likes on this. Appreciate it, guys. Almost 1K subs. That's crazy, bro. Thank you, Austin. I appreciate that, man. 2020 Rising Star will be Keith Lee. And hey, guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. Make sure you guys take the survey here. I'm trying to see if I can pull this up. I'm going to send you guys a link into the chat. And I want you guys to... You got a little feedback from me there. Sorry. I wanted to post that in here. And me, being the dodo bird that I am, clicked the wrong thing. But that link will send you for... I'm doing 2019 year-end awards. Me and Robert will have a show talking about all that stuff. So make sure you guys show me some love in there on that. Like I said, it's important that you guys watch these videos all the way through. Watch them till the end. I need my watch time up also. So help a brother out. Let's get into this, though. First question comes from my boys from the BBR family Headlock Talk. And they state, roses are red, violets are blue. You can be any wrestler from any promotion, anytime for a day. Who are you? This is some Riddler type shit here, boys. What wrestler would I want to be from any time, any promotion? I think that is going to have to be Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Attitude Era. Who did not want to be Stone Cold Steve Austin? He got to beat his boss's ass every week on Monday Night Raw. I mean, he had to take his licks too, but Stone Cold Steve Austin got to drive a Zamboni, a monster truck, filled up a Corvette, which my father-in-law absolutely hated because he wanted that car, with concrete. You have so many dope things that you could do as Stone Cold Steve Austin. You give out Stone Cold Stunners. Half your matches are fighting in the crowd, brawling. It's not a tough thing, but you are at the peak, and I think Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the number one wrestlers of all time. Can't go wrong with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Flood says Stone Cold Steve Austin is overrated. You shut your mouth, Flood. You know nothing about this. Stone Cold Steve Austin is awesome, dude. I don't know. You have to be around back then, man. You had to see the rise of him. He worked so hard for so many years. Go watch his WCW stuff and see how he was treated as Stunning Steve Austin. And you'll know. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the GOAT. Thank you, King. Next question comes from my man, Foul Original Foul. We still got to work on that project, brother. We got to talk about it again. He said, do you think NWA will overtake ROH in the race for the third spot in professional wrestling? So he's wondering, will NWA be ranked the third best promotion? That's tough, man, in 2020, because to me, Ring of Honor, Impact, and NWA are all fighting for that third spot, per se. But to me, it's already kind of given who it is. To me, if you're looking at where everything is right now in the entire world of pro wrestling, I'm going to say it's WWE, New Japan, and then AEW is in that third spot. And that's not a bad thing. AEW is still trying to figure things out. People have to remember, it's only been 8 weeks. Give them a break, man. Give them a break. I really think that AEW is finding their way. They're definitely the number 2 promotion in America, 100%. I'm not saying that, but I think in the world, New Japan is still held to that high standard that a lot of people love. What's going on, Connor? Did not get the notification. If you guys aren't getting the notifications, click that bell, unclick the bell and then click it again. Ring that bad boy, because you're not the only person who's told me that, Connor. So double check that for me. So, will NWA overtake Ring of Honor? I think it's possible. Ring of Honor is going to probably be one of the most hated wrestling promotions. The whole stuff with Kelly Klein and Joey Mercury and the text messages, it's too much, man. And you don't want to deal with too much bullshit like that. It's... Why? Why? And you know what? Impact Wrestling isn't any better with the Killer Cross stuff. I get it. These guys are trying to stay afloat. They're doing what they can. And some of these other wrestlers are not helping them in the best way that they can, in their opinion. I get that. And NWA's got controversy too, the whole Jim Cornette thing. They did a nice little tribute to Jim Cornette tonight on their show, saying like, thank you for everything. And they called this like the end of season 1, and thank you, Jim, for that. Jim Cornette even got his celebration in with the Rock and Roll Express. I thought it was a classy move, because you and Jim Cornette kind of split in a weird way. And I saw a lot of people in the chat saying, no, this is my last NWA show since you got rid of Cornette, because Cornette had his supporters too in all of this. Some people don't agree with them either, though. So you're in between a rock and a hard place with all of this. What do you do? Does NWA become, in my opinion, I think NWA can do it. They have to figure out how to beat out Impact, but NWA is on YouTube only. I feel like they're all in different places. Like, you have Sinclair, a television company that owns Ring of Honor, but they're in trouble. You've got Impact trying to figure out how to stay afloat. And I know that they're trying to make some moves and do some things, but we'll see how they do it. And then NWA. ROH will close its doors. Oh, man. Connor says, I predict ROH will die in 2020. Man, that's crazy if Impact outlasts ROH. Impact has been around for a long time, and people have been saying the same thing, though. Tough, boys. So, NWA third spot, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, because I think a lot of people like the NWA brand right now. They have to play their cards right, though. So, I'm going to make a wild prediction. And like I said, they're fourth at best, if anything. Let's go to my man, Mags. Shout out to Mags. Absolutely love Mags and the Badlands podcast. They are on thechairshot.com. Good to see my fellow Brainbuster brethren doing well. He said, encapsulate your 2019 as a content creator in one sentence. How do I feel about all of this? Honestly, Mags, in one sentence, I could say 2019 was a struggle and a blessing all at the same time. And that's my sentence. And what I mean by that is I've had so many struggles happen to me personally and creating this content, whether it's losing a show, which has happened to me. Live stream doesn't act right. It happens. I have a child now. The child cries in the background when I'm doing a review. What are you going to do? You're asking people to help you out for a few minutes so that you can get a review done. And these videos usually go 45 minutes to an hour. It's tough. But also, the good things, though. I got to link up with Brainbuster Radio. It was something I needed so desperately at that time. And I got to meet so many great people from Wrestle Thoughts, Headlock Talk, Foul. I'm trying to think of who else was there. Wilfred, Omega Luke, Queen, JPQ, good friend of mine. Absolutely love all of these guys. Josh, Kevin, Wrestling Reverb, Paul, Rain Counter on Twitter. Give him a follow too. And he's the co-host of Badlands with Mags, and you included, Mags. Absolutely love you guys, man. Floodwater says it's live, pal. So people are really feeling that Into the Fire. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. I absolutely love you guys, though, and I love producing this wrestling content, and I want people to enjoy what I'm doing. I think I come off as kind of a fair person when I talk pro wrestling. I try to do that stuff, and Connor was in that circle as well. He's always in every show, and I appreciate that, Connor. Connor's got his podcast, too. PR Nightmare, we can't say that. Come on now. Come on, we've been through that. But yeah, I'm happy for everything I've got, man. You know, if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be fun. So I'm ready to climb up these hills and see what we do for 2020 for EPW, man. Let's get back into the questions. My man Dio, DP, what's up, brother, man? I'm glad to see you back on Twitter, too, by the way. Really, really missed you, so I'm glad you're back. Dio says, what has been your favorite match of the decade, and what wrestler do you want him/her to achieve in 2020? Match of the decade is tough because I have a lot of good ones that I want to do. And I don't know, man. That's so tough. One match comes to mind that I can think of. Honestly, it's probably two, but I'm going to put this one because it's in a special place in my heart because I remember the day, where I was, everything else with it. Omega Okada was up there, but I'm going to go with someone who you would probably least expect me to have in one of these matches. I'm going to go with Money in the Bank 2011, John Cena versus CM Punk. One of my absolute favorite matches. I thought it was so well done. Everything from him being in Chicago, the fans chanting CM Punk, if CM Punk loses, we riot. They had the signs up and everything else. That was such a great match. And I thought that whole pay-per-view was dope. It came off so well. I just remember watching it on the computer screen. Just dope, man. Just dope. We had a good time watching it. I believe I watched it with Rob after leaving a festival here. Good times, dude. Obi-Wan, good to see you in here, brother. I answered your question about WWE 2K a little bit before this as well, so hopefully you can check back in and listen to that. Next question comes from Connor. Connor, who is in the live chat. Connor asks, hashtag Ask EPW, what kind of year do you expect from Impact in 2020? Impact Wrestling, they have to put everything together this year. I feel like I need to see them grow from a standpoint of larger crowds, more star power, and able to draw more. That's it. I just want to see little growths with them, and they have to figure out how to do that. But wrestling is oversaturated, just like the podcast game, just like YouTube, just like everything else. Very, very difficult. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to wind up having to do with that. You got to figure out what's going to work best for Impact Wrestling. You can't worry about what Ring of Honor is doing, what WWE's doing, what AEW is doing, who can help us, who can't. You need to know, what can we do right now? Can you help Impact Wrestling? Are you able to do this? And also, they need to figure out how to keep Tessa Blanchard. I think she is a star, and Tessa Blanchard is someone who they could build this company around. I don't know when her deal is up, but a lot of people have eyes on Tessa Blanchard. WWE, Cody Rhodes mentioned her at StarCast 4. They want Tessa Blanchard. She is the number one free agent as soon as her contract goes up. I can see Charlotte and Tessa main eventing a WrestleMania. And I'm not joking. I'm not blowing smoke. I really can see that. I could also see Tessa Blanchard becoming the face of the AEW women's division. And I can also see her becoming the Impact Heavyweight Champion if they play their cards right. So we'll have to see. Hey, there's nothing wrong being an Impact fan either. All good, Connor. Thank you for asking that question. Let's see here. Ooh, GG Vision asks, looks like a buy or sell, the Razor's Edge or the Jackknife Powerbomb? Same question, guys. Live chat. What's the better move, the Razor's Edge or the Jackknife Powerbomb? To me, there's only one right answer to all of this. You gotta go with the Razor's Edge, man. The bad guy, Chico. Razor Ramon. Scott Hall's Razor's Edge is just so dope, man. The putting the arms out, and I just definitely did a hard workout yesterday with my trainer, Matt. Shout out to you. Hurts to put my arms up, but when he lifts you up, puts you down for that Razor's Edge, bro, it's a thing of beauty. Can't be mad at that. Razor's Edge is easily my pick here. Let's see here. Razor's Edge from Donnie. Connor says Razor's Edge. Eric says that's a tough one. Razor's Edge for Edge. Got to give the edge to Razor. Everybody's saying Razor's Edge on that one. Yeah, nobody wants the stumble bomb from Nash, man. No hating at all, but there's a lot of power bombs in wrestling, and to me, Razor's Edge was just cooler, man. XGW Fed on Twitter asks, a buy or sell once again. Buy or sell Mick Foley versus Orton at Backlash 04 or Mick Foley versus Edge at WrestleMania 22? Damn, bruh. That's tough. That is a tough choice between the two. I'm going to go with the match that I've watched more and that I've enjoyed more. So live chat, throw in your 2 cents on this. I'm going to go with Mick Foley versus Orton as my buy, and I'm selling Mick Foley versus Edge at WrestleMania 22. I felt Edge was already made into kind of a star, in my opinion. And yeah, he didn't need the match with Foley. I think Edge was already there. Did the Foley match give him some tough points? Absolutely. And that's what Foley's matches were for. Randy Orton, on the other hand, before this, Randy Orton came off as a pretty boy. And I think Mick Foley helped put into perspective that Randy Orton had to be a badass. When he took that barbed wire baseball bat, raked it across his face in that match, or when Randy Orton got thrown on the tacks, I felt every, inch of pain that was going through that dude's body at that point, because I'm like, yo, there's no way. Because when I was watching, I'm like, oh, Foley's got to take the bump. He's got all the sweatpants on and everything else. He'll take the tacks and he'll be fine. They threw Orton on the tacks, and Orton just had on his regular trunks, and to me that made Randy Orton a legitimate badass, and it solidified him as an Intercontinental Champion, the Legend Killer, and someone who actually earned his tough card. Similar to what Mick Foley did with Shawn Michaels at Mind Games, there's a lot of moments where Foley made you the tough guy, and I wish we had a wrestler like that today. So I'm going to go with that. Flood said it was Foley Edge 22 was his choice. Connor says Foley Orton. Hey, man, I'm just going with that. I love that match. I could always go back and watch that one. I love the Edge match, too, though. That wasn't an easy sell. I love Foley getting speared through the table. Original Biggie says Foley Orton was better, but both were good. I can agree with that. Let's get to Black Baymax here. My man Chris. Shout out to Chris. He said, since 2019 had some of the craziest dream matches, I gotta know, what dream matches would you like to see in 2020? Damn, that is tough. Because we're getting some of them at Wrestle Kingdom, in my opinion, as far as dream matches go. It's hard, man. There's not a lot of dream matches left. I would love to see Sting and Taker, I'm not saying fight each other, but I'd love to see them maybe in a tag match, going against some younger stars that would put them over and make them look good. That's a possibility always. Matt Riddle versus Goldberg would be what I want to see. I know everyone's going to probably be like, what are you talking about? Dream matches. We've seen so many of them already happen, though, too. Okada Moxley would be a really, really good match. That'd be dope to see. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that we haven't seen yet. Maybe, well, we've seen that match. See what I'm saying? I was going to say The Fiend versus Taker, but we've seen that. We've seen Fiend Bray versus Roman before. It's tough the more and more this stuff happens. You know what? Matt Riddle versus Goldberg would be, or not Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, excuse me, would be another one I'd like to see. Oh, you guys are asking some good questions in there. Save them for me, and I'll answer a couple towards the end. Two for you guys in the chat. Jay White versus Juice Robinson. Yeah. You know what? CM Punk coming back would be really dope in my opinion too. I would love to see a potential CM Punk Kenny Omega match. I'm just throwing out some craziness. CM Punk versus John Moxley. Will Ospreay versus Leo Rush. King, that would be good. You guys are coming up with some better ones than I did. Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar. I think they could do some real damage. I would love to see that too. Let's see here. Shout out to BJ from Aussie Lution blogs and podcasts. He asks, over the past decade, what moment made you want to change the channel so fast you couldn't find the remote fast enough? Oh, man. I thought of one before, but that was ECW back when it was on. That was last decade before. That was the first thing that came into my mind. But there's been some bad moments, man. I think 3-hour Monday Night Raw is still happening as one that I would change the channel for. But if you're looking for a specific segment or match, the only answer has to be that terrible ass segment with Bobby Lashley and his sisters. That shit was trash, bro. Like, I never, ever, 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 ever want to see that garbage again on TV. King put CM Punk, AJ Styles. I've seen them fight before, though, but that wouldn't be bad either. Kushida, CM Punk. Okay. Bailey, This Is Your Life is Connor's answer. Yeah, that was bad too, but I can live with that. The other ones, hot garbage, bro. Hot garbage. All right, let's see what we've got here. We got a couple more from some other people here. Let's start with Eric's first. Eric Brennan asks the following question. He said, hashtag ask EPW, with the recent announcement of the villain becoming a free agent, will he sign with AEW or NXT? We said before AEW. Where would you like to see him go? Where would he shine the brightest? Like I said, he can go to any of those. AEW, NXT, he'll be fine. But I think he'll shine the brightest in AEW with his friends. Let's see here. Wrestling with Johners. Who has been your wrestler of the decade? In my honest opinion, the wrestler of the decade, there were two people it came down to in my mind. One wrestled for Ring of Honor, and that is Brian Danielson. But he was gone for a little bit. He was in some mid-card matches. He got stuck with some really crappy stuff. But so did Okada in the beginning. But I think Okada's career truly blossomed into being one of the best in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Someone that is undeniable. So I'm going to go with Okada as my wrestler of the decade if I had to choose someone. So thank you for that question, Wrestling with Johners podcast. Pops from DYWTSB asks, what do you think the WWE needs to do to right the ship with Raw and SmackDown? Raw, end the 3 hours. And as far as both shows go, you need to write better content. I don't feel engaged at all with what WWE is doing these days. I honestly feel like the shows are so long and boring. They absolutely suck, and I would love to see them do a little bit more. Be edgy. Go crazy a little bit. Have stuff for the mid-card guys and the tag teams to do. They just don't do that stuff like they used to, man. And we can talk all the crap we want about Vince Russo, but Vince Russo had stuff for people to do all the time. So I wish that we could get back to a point like that. Let us see here. Do we have any more? Josh Robinson asks, shout out to Josh from Wrestling Reverb. Make sure you check out his podcast. He wants to know who will take the title from Becky Lynch. I'm going to stick with my answer I've been saying for weeks. Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania beats Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title, and she reclaims what was hers. That's who I see taking it from her. Noob and Co. And I don't know if that's company or incorporated, but he asked, will Asuka be the next Raw Women's Champion? To that I answer, I would like to see that happen, and I think that could be a backup plan if there is no Ronda Rousey, but I'm going to say no on that one, because I do believe Ronda will be back for Mania. And what do you think of the 4 Horsewomen booking? Have they been booked poorly recently? No, I think the 4 Horsewomen are running their course right now. They've been the top stars on every brand, whether it's been Charlotte and Sasha, or Charlotte and Becky, Charlotte and Bayley, Becky and Sasha and NXT. I just think that people are tired of the combinations between them. I think you could do an awesome Fatal 4-Way between all of them eventually, or a big tag match, but for now, I just think that people are just tired of them. Maybe they need a break from each other, but they're always going to have to interact because there's 4 of them and there's 2 to 3 brands. So it's tough. I don't think that they're in a bad spot. I just think that they're stale, if that's an appropriate word to use. And let's see. Last question here from my man Steve. Steve asks, hashtag Ask EPW. With how things will be shaking up for Mania season, who do you think should win the Rumble on the men's and women's side of things? Shall be grand. Thank you, Steve, for that question. That's so tough. Like I said, Rousey, I think, could win the Women's Royal Rumble. That would be my pick for that. And as far as the men's go, I think Roman Reigns is my pick right now to win the Royal Rumble. I see Roman Reigns versus The Fiend at Mania. How it ends, I don't know. But I think Roman gets his second Rumble. He's part of Vince McMahon's team, the Breakfast Club. And I can honestly see that happening that way. I appreciate everybody who sent in questions, whether it was via Twitter, Facebook, wherever. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter at EPW Show, as you guys see down below here. And also make sure that you guys are showing me the love on Facebook. If you guys join the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group, or the official Everything Pro Wrestling page has over 1K in likes, make sure you guys check that out. Yeah, King, I just feel like Roman has to at this point. To me, there's nobody who you've built up as a big enough star to. Okada and CM Punk, who you all got? Conrad, who do you got? What, if those two were fighting each other? That's tough, bro. Flood is coming in with the question. So if you guys want to ask a couple questions, I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. So just throw them into the chat real quick for me. And let's see what we can do real quick here. Mr. Floodwater asks, what do you think of the new Universal title? The Blueberry Belt, it looks alright. It's vibrant. And if you're talking about the new Bray Wyatt title that's selling for $600 million or whatever, it's $6,499. But come on, bro. Nobody can pay that much for a custom belt. You get a certificate of authenticity, but come on, dude. Let's see here. Oh, Jesus, I never said Roman would be champion. I just said he would win the Rumble. I never, ever said that. Honestly, I would hope that they go with somebody new this year. But the question is, on Raw, who do you have win? I want someone different. If Mania plans stay the same, is Roman or Wyatt leaving Universal Champion? I would go with Wyatt, still large and in charge at the end of Mania, if you ask me. Let's see. Eric asks, if Okada left New Japan, where do you want to see him show up? Okada's so good, man. Honestly, I think Okada would fit perfect on... Honestly, I think he would best be used in AEW or... Ring of Honor. Those would be the two places I think that would know how to use him the best. Okada is a force to be reckoned with, though. You have to put him in a great spot. But I'd love to see him in AEW to do some new stuff with new people that he hasn't worked with yet. Black Widow trailer, your thoughts on it? It was okay. It was a letdown to me, Jesus said. Black Widow trailer looked pretty cool. We were discussing it in an XGW group chat earlier. Didn't look too bad. I thought it was alright. Lots of fun. Like I said, it's Marvel, man. What are you going to complain about with it? And we haven't seen the movie yet either. A trailer just gives you snippets of it. And I hate when they give too much away in a trailer, and then you watch the movie, you're like, oh, I saw all this in the trailer. We'll see what happens with Black Widow. I don't want to give any spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet, because it just came out today. But I thought it was okay. Not mad at it. I'm not saying it's going to be the greatest movie of all time, but I don't think it'll be the worst either. Ooh, King, good point. Drew could win the Rumble. I just fear that WWE won't. I guess I put myself in WWE shoes when it comes to it. No Conrad on the Royal Rumble. Hey, I'm just saying. Connor knows wrestling. Who beats Bray for the title? I think you're going to have to find an upstart or somebody who you want to put over. I don't think it's anybody who we can see yet. Roman doesn't need it. I think you need someone who's going to come in and defeat the monster, whatever his weakness or crutch is, and then Bray can come back as a babyface. King said Okada AEW. I agree with that. Which star got buried by John Cena the most in the decade? Alex Riley, original Biggie. I don't know what the story was with him. Something happened backstage with him at one point in John Cena. No actual stories have been revealed, but I heard John Cena really crushed that dude's push pretty bad. It's got to be him or the Nexus that got hurt the worst by him. Let's see here. If Tyson Fury wins the Royal Rumble, Jesus, that's worse than Roman Reigns winning, in my opinion. Absolutely not. Eric Brennan, what if Okada showed up in NWA? Thoughts? Okada showing up in NWA would be fine. I feel like it'd be too small scale, though, for Okada. I think Okada is bigger than that, and I think he would demand more money than that. Your thoughts on AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship? So I'm going to just talk about what was brought up, Donnie, with that. Harold Ming, I believe is his name. I can't think of his last name right now. The president of New Japan Pro Wrestling came out and released a statement basically talking about being open for relationships, keeping the Ring of Honor relationship strong. To me, it sounded like a lot of PR lip service, though. It sounded like he was just saying a lot of this stuff, but I think it would be a smart move for New Japan and AEW to team up. They could knock WWE on their ass. It's a great way to get people working AEW, and it's also a good way to get New Japan doing some things. So, hey, I'm not mad at it. I would love to see it happen. Do I think it's going to happen? Not in the immediate future right now. Let's see here. Oh, Original Biggie answered his own question. He said, for him, it was Damian Sandow. Yeah, he was the first technical loser of the Money in the Bank that got pinned for it, which sucked. Let's see here. Free my boy Sammy. I think you will, Jesus. I want to see Sammy and Nakamura lock it up again, hopefully. Fiend loses to a Black Mass King. Good point. See, here's the problem. I forget about Aleister Black because he never wrestles. Stop wasting this man's time. Roman ends the Fiend, Flood says. I don't think Roman needs it. Black would be a much better choice in my opinion, Flood, because Roman's already great. He's already a superstar. Doesn't need it. Tyson Fury wins the Royal Rumble. I'd break my damn TV. Fury, has any Wrestle Kingdom matches been announced? Absolutely, Connor. Let me see if I can pull up the card for you, because I was just looking this up recently. Let me see who has it up already. All right, this is almost a month old, but so you've got in the matches for Wrestle Kingdom, Connor, you got Jushin Thunder Liger retirement match number 1. Liger, Fujinami, The Great Sasuke, and Tiger Mask versus Sano, Otiani, Takawa, I believe is how you say it, and Taguchi. They got a special guest ref for that one. You have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Will Ospreay versus Takahashi on night 1. IWGP Intercontinental Championship match, Jay White defends against Tetsuya Naito. We also have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. We got Okada versus Ibushi. Gonna be great. Then for night 2, we know that Jushin Thunder Liger will be wrestling in his retirement match that night, but we don't know against who just yet, so it says to be determined. We will also have Tanahashi versus Chris Jericho, the Ace versus the Painmaker. Hell yeah, sign me up. Singles match, we have the loser of the IWGP Championship match versus the loser of the IWGP Intercontinental match from the night before. So it'll be like a toilet bowl, so the two losers will face off against each other. And I mean that with no disrespect. We used to always call it there were 4 teams. 2 teams who lost played in the toilet bowl, and then the 2 teams would be in the Super Bowl. Whatever. And then we'll have the junior heavyweight tag titles. We got the Bullet Club, Ishimori and ELP versus Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo. And then you have winner take all. The IWGP Heavyweight Champ and the Intercontinental Champion facing off against each other. I like it. Bravo. Way to Hogan and Warrior this bad boy. Titus wins the Rumble. Boo. Revival versus Young Bucks next year. That'd be dope. Dream matches, Okada and Taker, Okada Reigns, Okada. Those would be good, man. I just fear Okada going to WWE, like he wouldn't be treated right. Ibushi versus Okada is going to be great. Absolutely, Connor. Ibushi should take the belt off of Okada. Jesus, Okada always gets me, man. Anytime I think he is about to lose, he finds a way. But guys, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Live chat, I'm going to ask this question to you guys. Everybody's name got mentioned that was in here. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Do you guys like this format? Would you like to see the podcast appear up? They won't be as long as this one every week, but do you want to see more of the podcast in here? Let me know in the chat with yes, I like this on YouTube, or no, keep it just audio. I like listening to it on the go, because I am going to put this up as an audio form. So let me know what you guys think as far as that goes. But big thank you to everybody who sent in questions. I appreciate each and every one of you. It was a ton of fun recording this one. Good times. And I hope you guys subscribe to the podcast. Check out all the cool merch. If you guys are watching live, I'll show you Rob's shirt here. Same picture that we had up. We got the little NWO EPW logo on the shirt. So make sure you guys check it out. And people seem to be enjoying this, so I like it. Maybe we'll bring it up. We got to figure out what day is the best. It'll probably be a Monday or Tuesday that we do these on. But thank you guys so much for that. Appreciate all the likes on the video. Keep it up, man, and let's get to that road to 1K. We are out. Peace.